back. I found out there are 3 things that you do not preach about today. There's a couple of pastors here, so let me give you a little lesson that I learned, if I may. You don't preach about these things. You know how I found this out? They didn't teach me this in seminary. They failed me. They failed me. I want my money back. I found this out when I got up and fell on my face and did it. Number 1, you do not preach about hell. People don't want to hear that. Whatever you do, don't tell them they're going to hell. Don't tell them that. You don't preach about hell. And if you do preach about hell, throw in a bunch of garbage and a little bit of stuff and get them laughing about it so they won't take it seriously. Number 2, the second thing that you do not preach about, whatever you do not preach about the total depravity of man. Well, that's a big statement. Total depravity of man. Let me break that down for you. Basically what that says is there is nothing good in you that pleases God unless He puts it there. In your flesh, you cannot please God. You are dead to sin. You are in the bondage of sin. Don't preach about that. And the third thing that you don't preach about today, if you don't want to get invited back, don't preach about the carnality of the church. Don't preach about that. Not today. Not with churches that are packing them in, man. Don't misunderstand me. I'm all about a big church. But I've learned a valuable lesson. When I used to go to a church and visit, I'm a guerrilla evangelist. That's what I call myself. I'm hit and run preaching. Over here, gone, pow, pow. Before they even figure out what I said, I try to get out of there. But I used to go to churches, and I'd look up here and say, well, how many people did they have in Sunday school? How many people did they have on the roll? What was the offering? Boy, I was wrong. I had it all wrong. I was carnal. You know how I do now when I go to church? I look at the carpet. I get right here and I look at the carpet. And I said, do I see knee prints? Do I see tear stains? My vision was wrong. And I go to a lot of churches, and I see a lot of new carpet. It breaks my heart. Go back and look at the history of the church. You need only go back about 200 years ago. And the entity that we call the church today would have not been anything like what they had 200 years ago. Don't misunderstand me. Just because it's old doesn't mean it's right. Just because it's new doesn't mean it's right either. I'll tell you a couple little facts here. Number 1, our church isn't the same. Number 2, our preaching isn't the same as it was 200 years ago. But you know what really is amazing? We haven't had a major awakening in this country in 200 years. You think there might be some correlation? You bet there is.